Welcome to the Color Cinema. I am Aaron, and tonight we are talking Severin films. We talked about Severin a bit yesterday when I did the announcements on the Severin October releases, and tonight we're going to go into my complete Severin collection. Why? Because I'm kind of in the mood to watch the Severin stuff recently. Hey there, William. Uh, Welcome back to the Color Cinema. Hey there, Amy. I am a little nervous tonight because I am shaved a bit. My massive beard has gone down because I wanted to shave it a bit to grow it out a bit more. Hell Night 1981 is an amazing film, and it has connections to the Blob, by the way. Hey, son. So tonight we're doing. Hey there, Dave. Tonight we're talking Severin releases. I got my complete collection of Severin films that we're going to be looking at, and I'm actually kind of excited about that. Thanks, Chris. Don't worry, Chris. This weekend, I think we're going to be doing that superhero video that you want. That is coming up very, very soon. I do feel kind of naked right now. All right, so I'm setting that up. Hopefully the sound is going okay, and we'll go right directly. Do you want to you want to dive direct into this, or is there anything that you guys want to talk about before? So, after my initial excitement for like the PlayStation 5 yesterday, I'm not quite sure because there's so much coming out in the month of November from Severin and Vinegar Syndrome. I think I'm going to hold off on buying a system until next year because it's early, like January, February months for film. It's usually pretty lean, so I can actually save up a bit of money and get it afterwards. Hey there, Alan. Hope you love the camera set because that it is an awesome set, man. Danuch, welcome, man. Still waiting for your email. We got to figure out the StreamYard thing. So for me, as a for people that are we're looking forward to the PS5 unboxing, I do apologize. But I will still be doing some down the road. It's just be down the road a bit. I don't know if Xbox has been slacking on games, but there's a couple things about Warlock was right, by the way. I'm gonna put that out there right now. Warlock said yesterday that Best Buy had already sold out on their pre-orders of the PlayStation 5, and I said to Warlock at the time, I said, no, they can't do that because PlayStation's already said, they're not going to put out the pre-orders until tomorrow. PlayStation wouldn't screw you like that. So PlayStation screwed you like that, and they did that. So just so you know, who here collects or has at least a couple Severin releases in their collection? Thank you, Daniel. I'm still unsure about it. You have a bit, Goblin. Perfect. Many Severin. Don't think you have any. Well, I am going to be looking into it there, Mike. Into all my Severin releases, my DVDs and my Blu-ray, because they haven't done any 4K yet. Not yet, but there's 4K coming from Severin, isn't there? Isn't Santa Sangria coming out? Is that coming at 4K from Severin, or is that just a new Blu-ray release for them? Because I thought Santa Sangre was probably going to be like Severin's first 4K release. You guys are quiet today. I'm going to open up the comments here because I don't have anything else to look through for here, I don't think. So let's just grab this so I can see your comments as they come through. Your Lindsay Baker is... Oh, crap. I forgot some of my Severin stuff. Yeah. Hold on. I just realized I forgot a couple things. So if you bear with me for 1 second, let me just get the rest of my Severin releases because thank you for reminding me about the Lindsay Baker set and a couple others that are right over there. So I'm going to run over and get them. and I'll be right back. I'll be right back. And when I do, be ready to talk about Severin and some of the great releases that they put out, because they put out a lot of really great stuff. Wax Mask is a lot of fun. Sergio Stavaletti is amazing. All right, there's another set, and I cannot for the life of me figure out where I got to put. Okay. I can definitely show off the Creepshow box that I get in a video soon. Our Severin Region A. Well, I think a lot of them are Region A, but some of them are region free as well. So we're going to go into Severin, look at the Blu-rays, the DVDs, all their stuff, except for one box set, which for the life of me I cannot find right now. Hey there, Brian. This is Brian from Just the Disc and Pure Cinema, and now Just the Disc's YouTube channel. And he has one coming out for Scream Factory, which I'm eagerly awaiting. If that's out already, I have not seen it yet. Why did I trim my beard? Because my better half told me it was time to trim my beard for a bit. Thank you. Thanks, Kubrick. So we're going to start with the DVDs first, and we'll get into the Blu-rays afterwards. So there's a lot of Severin stuff. You're going to see like how eclectic they are when it comes to stuff. So we won't start with Intervision. We'll start with with some of the older Severin stuff. I think maybe one or two of these might actually be out of print. Not quite sure. You guys can let me know. You guys usually know the stuff better than I do, especially when it comes out of print stuff. I'm not a big person for keeping up on that type of stuff. I just like enjoy my movies, and I never forget about the out of print stuff. Okay, so a couple of these I got during a sale, and I got for free actually because they were giving away free movies during one of their big Black Friday sales. So first here is Zulu Dawn with of course Burt Lancaster, Peter. You can see the names right there: Peter O'Toole, Simon Ward, and Bob Hoskins. Which actually is a pretty cool film. This is like I'm not sure. I think there's a 2-disc edition of this one as well, but it's only the 1-disc edition that I have so well. So you can see Severin isn't just the Italian stuff or the kind of like the stuff that you see sometimes. They have some really neat different titles there as well. And along with that, there is Inglourious Basterds, the original one, with Bo Svensson and Fred Williamson. I actually got a really good cast for this film. Ian Bannon's in this one as well. I'm a big fan of the original Inglourious Basterds. I like the new one too. So, a movie that I think probably would have gotten lost No, a bit of a different story. Similar but different. It's very different. Like there's things taken from Glorious Bastards, like in the Tarantino one, but there's things taken from other films. When it comes to the Tarantino, like takes a lot of different stuff. Now this is a one disc edition of it. Oh yeah, still World War II. Shopping, which is a really underrated film. If you have never seen Shopping with Sadie Frost and Jude Law, I do recommend it. It's actually much better than it sounds. And this, honestly, initially when I saw this, I was like, do I really want a movie called Shopping with Jude Law? And yeah, apparently I did. And I didn't know I did, but I actually did. Is Shopping about the Holocaust? No, not at all, actually. um, Shopping actually has Jude Law, Sadie Frost, of course, from Bram Stoker's Dracula, Jonathan Pryce, Sean Bean, Sean Pertwee, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. Did all those Resident Evil things. All right. And of course, there is Psychomania with George Sanders. I think this was George Sanders' last film. Sadly, I think this was his last film. I think like George Sanders committed suicide or something after this film. Like, I gotta look that up. It's been a long time since I checked up George Sanders. Really good actor, really distinguished. And probably one of my favorite DVDs that I got from Severin is this one right here, and it's a 2-disc edition of a film that I think is underrated, and I don't think gets enough credit. A lot of people don't talk about it that much, and it's a real shame because it's a really good film. Josephine, well, I know how you feeling, Josephine. I had a pretty rough day there myself too, so it's good to be on here talking to you guys. This is Stuntman with Peter O'Toole. But not just Peter O'Toole. Steve Railsback's in this. Barbara Hershey's in this film. In this film here, directed by Richard Rush. There's actually a really, really good, kind of like a documentary on here as well. But a fantastic release. Let's put them back right there because that's where they go. So that's actually easy for me to do. And now 3 of their Intervision titles. Stuntman was a free DVD you got on that sale. Me too. I was so excited to get Stuntman out of all of them. Oh, I have 3 cats myself, so I really feel sore. I hope your dog feels better. And don't worry, movies aren't going anywhere. And you know why, Josephine? Because aside from theaters, you know what we have? And what I think we're going to have like a more of a proliferation of is drive-ins. And drive-ins definitely right now keeping movies alive. I go to the drive-in all the time. Speaking of which, let's do the segment of my show where I basically say, hey, what's playing at my drive-in this weekend? Just made that segment up. Think we'll do it. We'll do it for Josephine. So do they have it up yet? Apparently I'm not going to my drive-in this weekend because they're playing The Broken Hearts Gallery and After We Collided. So, what we know, I can totally skip this weekend at the drive-in. I'm sure those films are for lots of people, but for me, they seem like movies that I watch on Netflix. I'm not their target audience. All right, Intervision. So Intervision is a sublabel of Severin, and basically what it is, they're shot on video films, much like if you've ever had any of those slasher ones that were put out by conjunction with Olive. Chopping Mall is amazing. I love Chopping Mall. I almost bought the rights to Chopping Mall at one point, Josephine. So this is an Intervision double feature. It's called Murder Lust, but there's a second film on here called Project Nightmare. And I'll be honest, I haven't gotten around to watching these yet. I know I think I've seen this one ages ago, but I don't remember it. But one of my favorite, two of my favorite actors are in Chopping Mall. Actually, they've got a small part, but Mary Warnov and Paul Bartel are in the crowd at the beginning of Chopping Mall, pretty much playing the same type of characters that they played in Eating Raoul. So may even be the same characters that they played in Eating Raoul. Yes, anything Intervision, Jason, is usually shot on video. So next up is a Bruno Mattei film called The Jail, the Woman's Hell. This is what my dad gave me. I don't think I've seen this one yet. Any animal themed movies part of Severin? There are killer animal movies. Yeah, there's a couple. I don't have a lot of them. What I'll do afterwards, after I show what I got here, I'll go through. I'll go to Severin's website, and what we'll do is we'll look at some of the stuff that I really want to get. And I do have a couple animal themed ones, so we'll get to those. The Wild Beast is a great choice, Damien. Oh yeah, Kochasi. This one actually, this is the Bruno Mattei one. I think this one is still available. Some of the Bruno Mattei stuff went out of print. They lost the rights to them, I think, and they had to sell them off during this big sale. But there's actually features on these as well. You know, there's a featurette with Yvette Zahn and Alvin Anson, and there's one with featurette with producer Giovanni Palucci and screenwriter Antonio Tintori. So interesting here. It's by Bruno Mattei, who does a lot of cool cheesy stuff. And next up is the Intervision title that everybody must have in their collection. If you don't have any other Intervision title in your collection, you kind of need to have this one. Right, Craig, you're 100% right. Things. So for those that are new to my channel and don't know, I talk about this film a lot. This is, you know, when people talk about The Room or Troll 2 and they talk about, oh, this is a really bad movie, or they talk about like Samurai Cop, none of these have anything on Things. This, you had this on VHS, really? So this is a Canucksploitation film done in the late 80s. And it's definitely watchable. It is amazingly watchable. And it is amazingly, it's pretty inept. It's really inept. But it's really, really fun. Oh, Things is crazy, Josephine. Things is a really fun film. Hey there, Hammers. We're doing a Severin-centric video tonight. Did Severin do any French movie releases? Actually, just recently, coming out in October, is a movie Shock Treatment, with starring Alain Delon. And that they've had, of course, like some of the Jess Franco stuff as well. But Shock Treatment is the latest one. And I don't know a lot about that film. That's one that I do want to get. It's like a blind spot for me. So if anybody knows about it, you can like school me on it, because it's a film that I don't think and that I've seen. What do I think The Devil's Honey? We'll get to that actually, because that may be here. So let's start out with the Blu-rays, and then we'll get into the black cases. Yeah, they released Wild. What's it called? Wild Things or something like that. Wild something. I don't have it. But I will eventually pick it up. All right, so I got to censor this cover a little bit. But this is a Harry Novak release. And it is the Cinema Verite classic, The Sinful Dwarf. This is really neat. They actually, see the guy, the dwarf character there? That's the name of the film. I'm not actually being meaner. So this, hey there, Dustin, welcome. We're doing Severin tonight. Hopefully you like Severin stuff. It gets a little bit wild and crazy, but they have some really good stuff, some fantastic documentaries, which we will get into. Revenge of the Living Dead Girls is another French film. You're right, actually. This movie is insane. There was like a stuffed doll, like a plush doll of him that came with this if you bought it initially. F for Fake's one of my favorites. This movie's not really cinema verite. I was just joking. In the shower after Civil War. Well, Dustin, you'll find out some stuff. Hopefully, you'll find something that you'll find interesting. They do have a lot of different stuff, and they do a lot of cult like genre titles, but they do have some really interesting stuff as well. I should let your beard grow. I don't know how long your beard is, but maybe. Eventually, it's the thing is like it gets to a certain point, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna shave it in, and then I'm just gonna use kind of beard oil when it goes there next time and grow it even thicker, and that's what I plan to do right now. So this one has an extra film on it, and it is a just to let you know, it is an adult film, but it's an adult film with story called The Blue Balloon, and actually I kind of liked it better than Symphony of the Dwarf. Not for the adult part of it, but because the story was actually pretty good and pretty heartbreaking. Where Symphony of the Dwarf is kind of just an exploitation type of thing. Blue Balloon is about this girl that kind of like she falls in love with this guy, and he goes off to war, and she ends up like getting caught up the wrong type of people, and she becomes like she becomes a lady of the evening. And it's interesting to see where it goes from there. A crossover between Snow White and Symphony of the Dwarf. That is I think I'd actually like to see the crossover. Brother the Wolf needs something like Criterion Collection release. I do agree. I love Brother the Wolf. Please smash that like button. One of my favorite, one of my first 7 releases I ever picked up was this one right here. And that is Thriller Cruel Picture is one that I really need. My dad has a really good copy of Thriller Cruel Picture. It's a really good film. This is House on Straw Hill. I love this film. Now, the girl that made this, Linda Hayden, with Udo Kier, she did not love this film. That's she's interviewed on this disc, and she talks about not loving this film. What's really neat about this film, though, is if you're one of the first 3,000 people that picked up this release, you got a bonus one. I don't know what my dad's most prized movie is, but in a month you would ask him yourself, because I'll be doing a video with, I hope, inshallah, I'll be doing a video with my dad, and we'll be looking into his collection and some other stuff as well. Which Severin has the best soundtrack? Hard to say. I mean, I really do like, I don't have it, but Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward has a great soundtrack. And of course, the Umberto Lenzi, Carol Baker set has an amazing soundtrack. But there's a bonus film here called Ban the Saddest Videos, which is a documentary on video nasties. So, if you're interested at all in like video nasties, so if you're not familiar with what video nasties are, which I'm sure everybody here is, but if you're not, basically, a quick rundown is like there's a time in the UK where there was a whole bunch of movies. There was a list actually of movies that were banned in the UK, and you could actually get like get jail time or get fines and have your video store raided just to see if you had any of these video nasties in your collection. It was a really weird time for cinema in the UK, and it was kind of like the whole Mary Whitehouse thing. If you got to go and get some sleep, Josephine, get some sleep, man. Have a great evening. Hey there, Sasha. Hope you're doing okay there, man. We're doing Severin tonight. So if you like classic horror, if you're more like into the classic horror, if that's kind of your thing, if that's your bag, and you're thinking, well, I'm not quite sure about this kind of this weirder, stranger horror stuff, then this might be more your style. Well, I think the video nasties for Jess Franco, they use other things as well aside from violence. And it is the Barbara Steele Queen of Horror collection. So there's 3 films on this. There's Nightmare Castle. Hey there, Andrew. We're doing Severin tonight. Castle of Blood and Terror Creatures from the Grave, which are 3 really cool films. They're on it's on one disc, but actually really good quality for that. Like I was nervous to get 3 films on one disc with some features, but they do a really good job of this one. And it's one that I do recommend, especially if you like Daniel. You like Gothic horror. Yeah, this one, Daniel. I do. I shave my beard down. But don't worry. It'll grow back. I was nervous about doing it. I asked my better half to trim my beard, and this was her version of trimming it. So she did a good job for it, but I'm just very nervous when it trims down. Yeah, the steel set is a steel. I like that. She's in Black Sunday actually. Uh, this is a really good set actually. Now this, now if you got the 50 like a Nightmare Castle on a 50 pack, this is gonna be a revelation for you because this is a really good quality version of Nightmare Castle as opposed to what like was normally out there. Um, and there's like you got like Castle Blood, a new HD transfer of it from a rare US print. Terror Creature from the Grave, again that had a new HD transfer as well. Uh, the original film here is a restored, remastered, restored from in HD from the original camera negative. Commentaries with Barbara Steele and David Duvall. Interview with Barbara Steele. There's an interview with the director, Mario Chiano. Trailers for Nightmare Castle. Deleted scenes from Terror Creatures Beyond. Vengeance from Beyond, a new featurette for Terror Creatures. Dance of Ghosts, a new featurette for Castle Blood, and Castle Blood and Terror Creatures original theatrical trailers as well. So it's a pretty stacked release, and gotta give it credit for that. Next up is a black exploitation one, and a kind of a lesser known black exploitation one, probably best known for the murder of the guy behind the film than it is known for the actual film itself, and that is Blackenstein. So yeah, before the Alamson set, there was also another movie that they put out that was actually had someone that was involved that unfortunately was the victim of a murder. And they do actually talk about it on here. They have the sister of Frank Selettri on here, and he's the writer producer of the film, and he was unfortunately he was murdered. It's an interesting little like film. It has John Hart on here, and for a lot of people, if you're a Western fan, John Hart is kind of the guy that stood in and took over for Clayton Moore for I think for a season on Lone Ranger. Like that's one of the things that I know him most for, but he did other westerns and stuff like that. But that's kind of where my association with John Hart really stems from. Check your video. I would definitely check the video out, man. Next up is a really, really good documentary. So you're going to see a couple really excellent documentaries on here. And because Severin has put out some of the better documentaries put up by any company. Still, I think probably Criterion puts out the best documentaries, like as in like like documentaries on disc. But Severin is way way up there when it comes out to like really good, really amazing documentaries. And this one here, I really loved. I'm a big comic book fan, so you guys know that I mentioned it on it before. Chris knows that. And this is Future Shock: The Story of 2000 AD. So for those that are not from the UK or don't know what 2000 AD is, it was a comic. I think it still is a comic, and many of the great names from comic books, especially counterculture comics and what DC's now long lamented uh, imprint of Vertigo came from. So this is a really great documentary on here. We talked to some people like Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman, Mark Millar, um, it, Pat Mills, Alan Grant, Grant Morrison, Dave Gibbons, Kevin O'Neill, some of the Brian Boland, Karen Burgess, some of the big names in the comic book industry. Birthplace of Judge Dredd, of course. Yep, right here. A lot of really good characters there. Now, what's really neat about this is this documentary runs about 105 minutes long. Hey there, Alan. And the thing is that aside from the 105-minute long documentary, there's a bunch of extra interviews on here. So, how many extra, like an extended interviews are on here? Hey there, Dave. Over 6 hours worth. So there's over 6 hours of bonus interviews on here, bonus feature stuff. So if you like 2000 AD or you want to find out about that, it's actually Brian. That's a really great documentary. If you have not checked it out, it's definitely one to check out. 6+ hours of bonus material, some amazing stuff. Future Shock: The Story of 2000 AD, 110% recommend it. And I'm going to follow it up with another fantastic documentary that I do think everybody needs to see, and a lot of people have seen. And for that, I'm glad. I picked up the 3-disc House of Pain edition of it, and it is a really intriguing and interesting documentary. You use more gaming. Oh, then you need that, Craig. Then you need that documentary. And this is Lost Souls. Yep, the Doom Journey of Richard Stanley's All in Dr. Moreau. So, All in the Dr. Moreau is kind of one of Richard Stanley's favorite, if not his favorite book of all time. So when Richard Stanley got the chance after making like Dust Devil and stuff like that to make All in the Dr. Moreau, it was his dream job. He thought that, this is going to be fantastic. I'm going to make Dr. Moreau. It's I didn't get one of the shirt. That's before I was getting those bundles. But oh man, if you've never seen this, I see a lot of you guys have here on here have seen it, and I'm really glad about that, because this is one. By the way, if you're one of the people that haven't seen this, this is a fascinating documentary. We're up there with Alejandro Jodorowsky's Dune. So Fruza's interview is amazing. It's true. Fruza Balk is interviewing, and she is very like out front about the whole thing. She doesn't mind. Like some people will be kind of like, diplomatic. She's not going to be diplomatic. Fruza Balk tells it like it is, and that's one of the reasons I love Fruza Balk. But this, there are 3 different versions. There's a 1-disc and a 2-disc, but this is the 3-disc edition of it. So included on here on the first disc, of course, is a bunch of featurettes, audio interviews. The 2nd disc, though, is really cool, because what we get here is the Island of the Lost, what at the time was a recently discovered 1921 German version of the Island of Dr. Moreau, saw the German version of the Island of Dr. Moreau, and H.G. Wells on film, featurette with expert Sylvia Hardy and Richard Stanley talking about H.G. Wells. And the 3rd disc is actually super cool. And what that is basically it's an audiobook, an actual exclusive audiobook recording of H.G. Wells' Island of Dr. Moreau, unexpurgated, read by Richard Stanley himself. So I gotta say, I love that. Says on the Criterion. I don't have that Criterion disc on the of Lost Souls, so I really need to get that one, Craig. So I wasn't aware. And Richard Stanley is one of those geniuses that should be like heralded more than he is, but unfortunately he's not. Brian Trash, you got the right edition. Hardware I'd love to have too. Another documentary. Some of you are going to be like, should I pick this up? I'm not quite sure. This is literally fascinating, and was done by Frank Henenlotter, of course, the director of movies like Basket Case and Frankenhooker, and a lot of other kind of like kind of indie films that really became popular. And that's Sexploitation. This is a actually extremely fascinating documentary. And what makes this really good, aside from having Frank Henenlotter doing this, and he's an amazing talker, they have another amazing talker on here, and that's David F. Friedman. David F. Friedman tells stories on here. So basically, when that Sexploitation is about the early years of kind of like the gentle kind of the innocent years, like before there was like hardcore or X-rated or anything like that. There were these like loops and like educational and these health scare films. So it gets in and talks about the history of that. Exactly, amazing commentary by Lisa Petrucci from Something Weird. And aside from the documentary, which by the way runs at 136 minutes, and it like goes by extremely fast. There's actually over 3.5 hours of extra features on here, including some of the shorts from the Something Weird archives that they talk about during the film. So you'll see some shorts that'll get like referenced in the film, and then you'll be able to watch them afterwards in the bonus features. So that's always a really great thing. Another one for the watch list. Now, November, of course, Severin will be having the big sale, and so we're Vinegar Syndrome, so I'll be covering both those sales. There's no, unfortunately, Northern. I don't know of any like DVD release for Cliffhangers yet. I was a big fan of Cliffhangers. For those that don't know, Cliffhangers was a show that came on in '79, right? In the late '70s, and it pretty much was like it was like the serials where they would have like three ongoing storylines throughout it. The only storyline that concluded out of the three of them was the vampire one, and that was the best one anyway. I think it was called Dracula's Curse or something like that. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it was really good, and I would love to have an edition of that. Am I going to get the Demon Six? I did want to get it now. See, I pre-ordered their September bundle, and I pre-ordered the bundle for October from Vinegar Syndrome. I did want to get the bundle from Screen from Severin as well, but I don't know if I don't think I can afford it this month. There's three solid releases. Anybody that's getting the bundle this month, they're getting three really good releases. Well, I don't know a lot about shock treatment, but just the fact that I don't know about it is something that interests me. But I know that I would like to have like the Demons Six one, Black Cat, which the, if you listen to the to Severin's podcast, because they have a podcast as well, then they actually talk about the fact that, and I forgot to mention it on here last night, but I'm glad that they did talk about it. That in a way, it's kind of like an unofficial sequel, unofficial like third mother story, like Three Mothers trilogy that Jared Argento was doing. You are so lucky. Friedman sent you his book signed. That, yeah, I'm jealous. Rest in peace, Friedman. He was a nice dude. So, Kung Fu Trailers of Fury, really good trailer. Blu-ray, a lot of really cool like Kung Fu films on this. This was done, I think this may have been curated by Rick Myers, who wrote the book, Kung Fu Films of Fury. He does a featurette on here where he talks about a brief history of Kung Fu cinema. He does a commentary, and there's another featurette basically talking about the discovery of the original 35 millimeter trailers. So actually, these are some trailers, and some are in some pretty good condition. So definitely worth checking out. There is a second volume of this one. I do not have it yet. Commentary is really cool on that one. I do need to listen to that again. Hey there, Jordan. Hey there, Leroy. By the way, welcome. Do I like Iron Monkey? I do, actually. Yeah, like it's got basically, so Daria Nicolodi wanted to do like the third Mother film. So Black Cat is kind of her take on the third Mother film. I'm pretty sure the Mother of Tears is like referenced in Black Cat, and that's years before Argento would go out and do Mother of Tears. Three. Have a great evening there, Sasha. I don't want to keep you up too late. Feel free to come back in if you can't sleep. Okay, so next up is an Intervision Blu-ray title. I've only got one Blu-ray Intervision title, and it was done by Chris Alexander, who I guess he's most famous for like Fangoria, right? I do need to get those Umbrella releases, and it is Queen of Blood. Now this is Chris Alexander is a fan of, and it's obvious if you watch this film, he's definitely a fan of Jean Rollin, because that's kind of what he's trying to get at with this film. I think this was shot entirely on an iPhone. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure it was though. But apparently this includes two films on it, and I don't think I've seen the other film, Bloodfire Arena. So that's another film that's on here as well. This gets a lot of hate usually, uh, but I think it's interesting to have. It's an Intervision Blu-ray. You don't have a lot of Intervision Blu-rays. There's only a few, and I do, unlike some people, I do kind of dig these style films, and I do understand that some of that stuff is not for everybody, but for me, I actually really enjoy it. Somebody mentioned Kathy's Curse as the first one that they picked up. I am very proud of you because it's a exploitation classic, and this is a really, really fun film. Kathy's Curse is an excellent little film. For years, you found like really crappy copies of it on like really cheap discs, but Severin put out an amazingly incredible release of Kathy's Curse. There was actually a mask you could buy, like a Kathy's Curse mask, and I think it came back during the last sale. So there's some really cool stuff in here, some interviews, some featurettes. There's two cuts of the film. They got the director's cut, and there's an alternate U.S. Release cut of the film on here. Makes you feel drunk. There you go. And it's a fun little film. I did like Kathy's Curse a lot. And I got asked about this one. Ever done a Canucksploitation video? I did try to do one early on. I got to do an updated one. It's been over probably about a year and a half to 2 years before I did anything on like Canucksploitation. I wish I'd go to those war conventions so I could get like a Kathy's Curse mask like you. But being Canadian and being a guy that almost wrote a book on Canucksploitation, just so you know, Coach, I was a writer as well. And at one point, I was like working on writing a book on Canucksploitation, and I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't go. I didn't finish it. I moved and didn't finish doing that one. But it's something that is near and dear to my heart. All right, next up is The Devil's Honey. This is a Lucio Fulci film that, unfortunately, doesn't get enough love. This is an amazing film. Brett Halsey's in this film here. Um, I like him a lot in this. Corinne Clary kind of steals the show though. Incredible cast and a really, really good film. It's very different for Fulci. So people go in with Fulci and sometimes they expect it's to be extremely bloody or it's just going to be like just exploitation. And this one is a bit different. It's uniquely done. And one of the big things about this film, the one thing that stands out to me, is it's a film about grief and perception. Hey there, Tucker. Welcome, man. And this, I wish I would have got the one with the slipcover. My dad actually ordered the normal one, but because they were late or something like that, they gave him a slipcover one instead. So my dad was really lucky. Some great features on here. Really, really great features. AME, I recommend you check this out. It's a really fun film. I don't know if fun is the right word for it, but it's a really good Fulci film. And it just goes to show you that Fulci could have done a lot more when he was given the time, the chance to do it. No, there's nothing at all wrong. Like Fulci has made some amazing like cinema when it comes to horror and like and that type of stuff. But Fulci could make a lot of different things, and this really shows one of his true strengths. Definitely Giallo. He made some of the best Giallos of all time, in my opinion. So we're getting into some newer stuff here as well. I was got to say that you broke your tailbone. Oh, that just sounds painful, even like hearing. So Felicity is an exploitation film. It's on Blu-ray. If you didn't pick this up during the last sale, I recommend grabbing this next time you feel like exploitation because not only does it have Felicity on it, but it has two more films as well. So it also has the ABC's 11 Sex, which is kind of like a Mondo style film, and the Australia After Dark, which again is another Mondo style film. What's really neat about this is there's not quite Hollywood outtakes here, and there is a audio commentary on Felicity, but there's also an audio commentary for each of the bonus films as well. These films initially came out on DVD under Intervision, but here they get a Blu-ray release along with Felicity on this disc here. No, not Linda Blair. This is an Australian film. Interesting to see, and not at all what you think it is. So, Damien's obviously seen it. Bob is the king. What's the plot of Felicity? Well, the best way to do that, here, let me read you the back of the box. Because I'm going to do it the cheap way. She had a mom as a little girl no more. The luscious Gloria Annan Stars as Felicity Robinson, a sheltered teen who surrenders her blossoming body to a world of bold sexual adventure, from her forbidden pleasures at an all-girls school in England to wanton hungers in the exotic underground of Hong Kong. So it gets dark. It's not all as exciting and fun as you think, but it's an interesting film. So yeah, Andrew. So different stuff, right? Here's a classic for you. The Devil's Reign. I love this cover, by the way. This is an amazing cover for Devil's Reign, for an amazingly insane film. And cast-wise, like, you can't get a better cast than this one here. Like, Ernest Borgnine, Eddie Albert, Ida Lupino, William Shatner, Tom Skerritt, Keenan Wynn, John Travolta. Just so many actors in The Devil's Reign. And look at that cover. How can you not love the cover to Devil's Reign? And of course, there is the alternate cover here as well, which is also fantastic. So you get two great covers for the price of one. Again, a ton of features on here. Severin features aren't always long features. When they are long, they're actually pretty long. But sometimes the features are shorter, but just the right amount. Have I seen Marty? Marty's really good, actually. So if you haven't seen Marty, I do recommend it. It's a great role for Ernest Borgnine. And he does a fantastic job in it. But the next one I'm going to show you is obviously Criterion quality. Because once you see this, what else is there? Like, could this be the ultimate word on cinema? Birdemic, shock and terror. Who will survive? There's a sequel to this. I'm shocked that there's a sequel to this, but there's a sequel to this. But there's a bunch of Sharknadoes, so why not? It's a really, really bad film, but it's fun, and it's funny. Freaked you out when you were a kid. That was Rain did. I can see that, actually, the melting scene especially. There's actually two audio commentaries on this one here. Audio comedies. Hey there, Stephanos. Welcome, man. We're talking Severin tonight. And with that being said, we're about to get into the black cases. For those in the know, Severin did a bunch of black case films. That's what they do now. They don't do blue cases anymore. They do black cases. It's Severin's signature. And you ready to see some? The next one that I'm going to show is one that I'm going to be talking about during the 31 Days of Horror. So I'm not going to be talking too much about this film. The one thing that I will say is that if you're going to buy one of the films that I talk about during the 31 Days of Horror, let this be one of them. And because without giving away too much. Oh yeah, Andrew, every year I do a 31 Days of Horror where every day for October I talk about a different film. I'm going to try to do most of the videos live because my channel is a live channel. But I don't know if I'm going to be doing all of these live because I'll be traveling during that, so I'll be doing some live ones with my dad as well, and I'll do some pre-taped stuff for the days that I can't actually upload, so we get the whole 31 days. Hey there, Jason. Isn't it cool to be reviewing this stuff? Next of Kin. Next of Kin is an exploitation classic. This is an utterly brilliant film. If you like movies, you like horror, you like cinema, you like Kubrick, Stanley Kubrick, yeah, you're gonna like this film. It's extremely well done. It's very true. There's a fantastic dreamlike quality of this film. I don't want to give away too much because I am going to be talking about it, so I do apologize. But I can say right now, 100%, that this film is Cult of Cinema approved. Your servant said order came in today. Nice. If you have not seen this film, I 100% recommend you see it. If you do not own it, it is not a rental, it's an own, because there's some great stuff, especially if you're a fan of like cinema and learning about cinema. Uh, this movie came out in 1989. It was directed by Tony Williams, and unfortunately, the guy that was the cinematographer on this one passed away. And it's such a shame because when you're looking at this film and you're seeing how this is how visually stunning, it's like a lot of sequences of this film are, then you'll understand what I mean. Why it is such a great loss that we lost the cinematographer early on. So definitely check it out. It's a film that does have kind of a ghost story type feel, but it goes in a different direction than you think. Uh, an amazing score actually. There's a great score on that film as well. So Next to Kin is definitely an all around like buy from me. If I was going to say like here's a movie to pick up, same transfer as the Umbrella disc. I'm not quite sure. I don't own the Umbrella disc. I would say let's just check here though. See if it's a new remaster. Because it's like the person from Tangerine Dream did this, I think. Is this transfer from original Australian Vault Elements? So I would assume that that is the Umbrella one. So if you got the Umbrella one, Brian, I'll just read out the features here as well, just in case you want to check and see if you have the same features. I got a feeling it's probably going to be similar. But it has a commentary with Tony Williams and producer Tim White. There's a commentary with Mark Hartley, cast members Jackie Kieran, John Jarrett. Yes, that John Jarrett from Wolf Creek. He's in this film. With a big part, actually. And Robert Ratty. House of Psychotic Women intro by Kira Janice. I really like her, by the way, for Morbido TV. It's really interesting. Extended interviews from Not Quite Hollywood. Really long extended interviews, by the way. Return to Mount Claire location visit done in 2018. Deleted scenes, Before the Night is Out, ballroom footage from 1979. There's actually neat. The ballroom footage is cool. Trailers, alternate German opening of the film. Image gallery, and what's really neat, it has some like short films by Tony Williams on here as well. You picked this up because I talked about it. I'm actually really glad, Ryan, because this is one that I do have to say I love this film. And rewatching it, I fell in love with it all over again. I truly did fall in love with that film all over again. I love Next to Kin. And it given away a bit for my 31 Days of Horror, but it's quickly becoming a favorite on my list. Australian horror. There's been some really great Australian horror there. Next up is a Mondo one. So if you're not a Mondo fan, this may not be your bag, but I find the Mondo era interesting in an odd way. So it is the Wild Wild World of Jane Mansfield. And it's a weird, unique, different type of film. You grab Changeling. I'm proud, man. I'm proud of you, and I'm kind of proud of me that I got you to get Changeling. I hope those two films are films that you like, because Ryan, those films were, to me, those like are kind of like ones that like kind of changed me. Changeling definitely like was one of those films that I grew up like studying and loving. No, you're definitely correct, Kubrick. Her daughter is Mariska Hargitay from Law and Order SVU. You got this one on VHS too? It's a different one. It's really neat, and it's got two films on here, which is actually kind of cool. It also has a film called The Wild, Weird, Wonderful Italians, which is a Mondo film, pretty much a Mondo Italian film. There's a interview with Anton LaVey's biographer, Blanche Barton, called The Devil and Jane. Do I think Severin ever put out Razorback? Well, there's been some crossover between Umbrella and Severin, so I would love to see Severin put out a copy of Razorback. It's a really good film and highly underrated. I don't think enough people have seen it, but I'm glad that you have and that you're mentioning it here now. So for people that haven't seen Razorback, I actually really like that film. Don't worry, I'll get to more Mondo films. You put out one that I don't have called Mondo Bollardo, I think it's called, and it was actually narrated by Boris Karloff, which means that's got to get this on my list, the ones to get. Next up is the one that's a lot is a lot of fun. I started watching it the other night, but I was actually really tired at the time, so I haven't got to get through it again. Um, but it's a Lucio Cosi film, so if you're getting the Black Cat coming up from the October release, you're going to want to get this one as well if you don't have it. The soundtrack is with one edition. I do recommend getting the soundtrack edition of it, and it is Paganini horror. Much like the Black Cat has a connection with Dario Nicolodi, uh, and of course the great Donald Pleasance is in this film as well. So it's a fun '80s film, kind of giallo slasher kind of film with a bit of the supernatural in it. Anything Darren Nickelodeon, man, I'm into. I really love Darren Nickelodeon. This is a fantastic cover, by the way. Just look at that. Like, this cover, it sells it. And one of the neat things is on the inside of it, uh, you don't just get the film, but you get the soundtrack itself as well. There are 17 tracks on the soundtrack there. You go right there. And I love that they have a track list in with their soundtracks. They don't just like shove the soundtrack in it; they give you like a track list as well, and that is incredible the way that they do that. Severin is kind of the premier label for putting soundtrack releases with soundtracks with their releases, and it's amazing. Uh, like I mentioned here before, including soundtracks in with your releases is one of my favorite things. One of my favorite features. Donald Pleasant's voice is. See, I wouldn't know Brian because I didn't watch the dub version of it. I watched the Italian version with like the subtitling. I do tend to watch the subtitling like first. I'll always watch it with the sound with the subtitles on first, and then I'll go back and if I'm studying it for like a video or if I'm like taking notes, then I'll go back and watch it with the dubbing on afterwards. You can never go wrong with a skeleton with eyeballs on your poster. That is true. Your favorite part of the run of the Lindsay Baker set was the soundtracks. Well, hopefully that's because the soundtracks are really good and you love the films as well. You want crazy? Well, Night Killer. Night Killer is super fun. I don't know how to describe this. It's a Bruno Mattei film. Uh, I'm pretty sure Bruno Mattei made this film. He did, right? Oh, no, it's Fragasso. Fragasso did this one under the Clyde Anderson name. So Clyde Fragasso, the guy that did Troll 2, made Night Killer. Orgasm was amazing. See, I love this cover ending. It really stands out, and it actually suits the film. Did you like the Night Killer, Brian? AKA Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. Was anybody here lucky enough to get the one with the slipcover? Because I obviously didn't get it. Because that sold out really quickly. Well, it's definitely meant to remind you of Nightmare on Elm Street. They, that's was a blast. It is fun. See, it's one of those fun films. I will be talking about that one as too during the 31 Days of Horror. And if you like your classier stuff, your classic stuff, your kind of cool monster uh, in a costume type of thing. Hey, horror fan, man. Welcome, man. He wants to slip me too, Italian Dan. Hey, you had two? You're so lucky. The Horror of Party Beach. Also, by the way, hey, Daisuke, we're talking Severin tonight. Do you like Severin? Have you picked up much Severin stuff? So, Horror Party Beach is a really fun little film. Um, this one here is by Del Tenney, so you know it's going to have just the extra amount of fromage included in this film. It's a neat little weird looking monster that I do kind of dig. I do like to dig the monster costume. It looks like he's kind of eating hot dogs. I'm not even joking. I'm not sure if you can see it really good here, but it looks like he's got a bunch of hot dogs in his mouth. And it's a fun little release. I mean, there was a band on here that my dad knew actually. He knew of them well, and they're interviewed on here. Basically, called the Del Airs, interviews with band members Bobby Osborne and Ronnie Lanier. So my dad knew all about that band. I actually, oh no, the film's actually in color. It's just like on kind of like in black and white right there. But it's a cool little film. And I got this for my dad one year for I think for his birthday for Christmas. Now, if you want a film, actually, if you want like a non-cheesy film, uh, I haven't watched Bahia Blanca yet. I've been wanting to watch it so many times, Ryan, but I'm waiting. See, I got a copy for my dad, and we're going to do like a Jess Franco video. So I'm figuring it's best for me to go in and watch that with my dad because that's kind of how I'm gonna how I figure I'll do a Bahia Blanca because if we do a Jess Franco video, it's good to have like one that we have both of us haven't seen in a while. I don't think I've even seen Bahia Blanca ever before. So that'll be interesting to check. I'm so ready for the video. I'm so ready for a vacation, man. I won't be. I'm not lying, Brian. When hey, that rhymes, Ryan. When I say that I'm so ready for vacation. And this is The Boys Next Door. Yeah, a actually really great film, directed by Penelope Spears, starring Maxwell Caulfield and Charlie Sheen. I think this is an extremely underrated, underlooked film. Um, that people that still to this day, even though they got a really great packed. I mean, I do mean look at that packed release from Severin. I still don't think enough people seen it. I've seen Kolchak the Night Stalker movie and TV shows and say I grew up with Richard with Kolchak. I do own the Kino editions of Kolchak the Night Stalker and Kolchak the Night Strangler. Um, Night Killer, it's a crazy film. I hope you like it, Dustin. It's fun and insane, but sometimes you need these type of films. I haven't seen Silence of the Heart with Sean. I did actually. Uh, but Boys Next Door is so freaking good. Uh, Maxwell Caulfield, of course, is one of my favorite movies. Grease 2. I'm not going to lie there. I do love the movie Grease 2. But there's a ton of features on there. There's an audio commentary with director Penelope Spears and actor Maxwell Caulfield. Blind Rage interview with Stephen Thrower from author of Nightmare USA. Interviews with Maxwell Caulfield and Christopher McDonald. Yes, because Maxwell Caulfield and Christopher McDonald didn't just work on Grease 2 together. They worked on this. Give Us Your Money. Interviews with the street band performers. Texacali Jones and Texacali Mockingbird. Caveman Days, a cinematics interview with Penelope Spears and actor Maxwell Caulfield. Interview with actor Kenneth Courtland. Psychotronic Tourist, The Boys Next Door. Alternate opening title sequence and extended scenes and trailers. So a ton of features on here. I utterly adore this film. It's one that I caught on VHS back in the day when I was young. I never thought this was going to get like a Blu-ray release. I never ever saw this on DVD. So I definitely missed out on that. Same director from The Decline. Yeah, it is the same director from The Decline. Penelope, like a solid. We're not talking like like Del Tenney's fun, but we're not talking like a Del Tenney. We're talking Penelope Spears. This is a really good director, making a really solid film. Uh, the next one you guys asked me about, and here it is, Bahia Blanca. This is my copy of it. My dad's copy is still on a source sealed, of course. This is a Jess Franco release. I love the fact that it came out after Ready or Not and has a Ready or Not-ish type cover to it. But I'm actually really looking forward to this. I don't know if Lena Romay is a big part in this one or not. I know she's in it. I think it stars Eva Leone. But interesting film. I'm excited to see this. And I want to get it's Franco Friday. That's a good idea, Franco Friday. Ooh, couch. I should do that. I may take that idea from you and use it. But I will give you credit right now. Next up is the one I was super excited about. Like, really excited about. Because I've seen this movie many times. But I'd never seen, apparently, I did not know there's an original uncut version of the film. And We're From a Girls' Dormitory, which, by the way, better than the title gives it credit for. It's a fun little film. has an uncut edition. I'm extremely excited to watch this. It was done by screenwriter Ernesto Gastaldi, and for those that are maybe aren't into Italian films like I am, Ernesto Gastaldi is one of the names that you look for when you're picking up like Italian films like giallos and horror. Gastaldi is an extremely proficient, uh, extremely amazing writer. Uh, and I'm interested to see what he does. Hey Warlock, you were totally right. By the way, at the beginning of this video, I I I called out, I shouted you out, and I said you were totally right about the Best Buy thing. PS5 is they're having some issues now. See, I was thinking, am I going to get this? And then so again, it came with a comic book in here as well, which I think is kind of neat, kind of little book. The Ghoul in School. Like a picture comic. And there again, by the way, is another soundtrack. So this one is a soundtrack here as well. I was told today, I think it was Oli who said that my videos aren't downloadable, which I'm not quite sure what that means. But maybe there's something I'm not doing. Right, but I got to check on that. Oh, wasn't you? Okay. Sorry, but I thought it was you. And I felt bad afterwards because, like, wait a minute, somebody said and they were completely right, and I was wrong. One thing if you're new here, the thing you'll know, and you'll find it really quickly, is I'm okay when I'm wrong. Yeah, the soundtracks added to these releases, Dustin, are really add a lot to this, and I love the fact that that they're able to do that. 4K video downloader. I may know a bit about that when I was saving up some of my discs actually, which I got to redo because I lost the stuff. Wrong, but sometimes that's right. I like that. I'll take that. All right, so another one with the soundtrack, and this is a fun one. I thought it was fun anyway, and it is RoboWar. So this is kind of a RoboCop rip. Extremely fun little Italian film. Again, a bunch of features. Again, really cool. Like CD, kind of has a Predator look to it there, right? And I love like that it's got like 30 tracks on here, uh, and neat thing. This is a track list, but they actually do some really neat stuff for the track list. Just look at this. Well, Grinders and of course Blue Underground too. Now the one thing that I had to say that Severin does that that the other companies don't do, um, at least not yet, is Severin puts out like the releases. You can buy the releases separately. You can buy them all together, and they often put out bundles where there's T-shirts included, or shark guns, or masks, or beach balls, or pins, or black Giallo killer gloves. Severin's really good at marketing. It's one of the things they do best. Speaking of the one you just mentioned, novelizations now too, another thing. So they're good at innovating. Severin and Vinegar Syndrome for me right now are the companies that innovate the most. They're smaller companies. They're working on pretty much a smaller crew, but the innovation that both these companies are putting in to what they do is insane. It is insane the amount of innovation that's going into their work. And both of them put out like some actually like they'll put out some slocky stuff, and they'll put out some like really quality releases. You're like, that's coming out from that company. When Vinegar Syndrome put out Putney Swoop, obviously it was a big deal. When Severin put out movies like Penelope Spears' Boys Next Door, And of course, and the classics like The Changeling was an amazing deal as well. Franco February Friday, nice. It's a triple F. Yeah, it's the thing that makes it exciting, right, Ryan? That off the wall thinking that these companies do, that you got to give credit for. Severin's just recently started up a podcast as well, and this is The Beast in Heat. It is a Nazi exploitation one. What's really great about this is there's a documentary Nazi exploitation on here, which I strongly recommend you check out. The documentary has some great people talking on here. So you get like to hear people like Diane Thorne, of course, Ilse herself, talking on here too. No, actually, there's some good movies. There's some diamonds in the rough, Andrew. Trust me. There, some of them you're probably not gonna like. Some of them may be your next favorite that you just don't know yet. One thing you're gonna learn about me is I have a strong liking for like all types of cinema. Yeah, the documentary is amazing. I was unsure about The Beast in Heat first because it was not my favorite film, to be bluntly honest with you. Like when it comes to that style of film, and it's been a long time since I've seen it. Maybe I'll like it more now, but I primarily got that one originally for the documentary because I did want to do a video eventually on Nazi exploitation cinema, and that documentary was kind of paramount in having this and getting that video done. Next up is a Bruno Mattei film, which is a lot of fun. It is super cheesy, and it is pretty much, well, it's aliens. It's aliens, and it's also Terminator. It's aliens and it's Terminator, and one of the stars of it is in the original Demons film. So that's actually pretty cool too, and that's Giretti. So that is shocking dark. I actually love this film. This is super cheesy and super fun and weird and strange and interesting. And again, it's a Italian knockoff film. You do a great job, and I was hoping there would have been like a soundtrack. There wasn't, but still a great release, and really interesting interview with Goretti in here, as well as one with Claudio Fragasso and Rosella Drudy. I swear, Severin has put out such an amazing amount of Claudio Fragasso, Rosella Drudy releases. They got to be their biggest fan base, and has made me like a huge fan of them. I'm still looking for a movie that I'm trying to find here for this video. That is here somewhere. Maybe I put it upstairs. I don't remember. The Noirs in November. What they do a Noir November. I haven't done it. Like a lot of people do it, but I haven't done it myself yet. But it's a good idea. I really should because I do love noir films. Absurd. One of my all-time favorite releases that Severin ever put out. This comes with the soundtrack. It'll be interesting, Warlock, to see what Severin's going to release next month. I have a feeling that both Severin and Vincent are going to be going all out next month. They're going to make your your wallet cry, and squeeze every dollar out of it. By the way, I love the soundtrack cover for this one here, even though there's no zombies in the movie Absurd, so not quite sure what that's all about, but gotta love it, right? Absurd, an excellent film with George Eastman. Um, I'm a huge George Eastman fan. Very smart guy, very tall guy. Um, very very smart, very intelligent. He was a writer. He wrote a lot of films as well. Uh, Extremely well done. Not only George Eastman in this one, but Edmund Purdom is in this one as well. Of course, who was in like Do Not Open Till Christmas and other really cool films. Of course, there was Anthropopcus was the other film. Kind of came out close to this one. But I'm not a. I like Anthropopcus. It's okay, but I prefer Absurd. Jonah Mouse only made 600 films. I'm guessing like if I was a betting person, Warlock, I'm guessing that that like Replicator has been going steady since the last sales gotten over. So they're doing the best they can to get as much as they can in for the next sale. So we'll see. I'm actually very curious. I'm very interested. I'm interested. I didn't get the Arthropopicus guts doll. It's actually really cool. I kind of wanted Craig, to be honest with you. All right, ready for two classics. So first off, it is a Lucio Fulci sort of film, um, and that is Zombie 3, which Lucio Fulci started directing, got kind of sick. Bruno Mattei took over. Written by, I think, by Fragasso again. I think Fragasso and Drudy actually wrote this one as well. Story and screenplay by Claudio Fragasso. Got the doll on the shirt, nice. Again, another amazing release with a soundtrack and the Blu-ray. Um, Blows my mind that they're doing that stuff. It's just amazing, the amount of like Italian soundtracks that I have because of because of Severin is insane. I gotta rewatch that one, so we can put that on the watch pile. Zombie 4 After Dark, and of course Zombie 5 was put up by Vincent. And this too, again, like right out there with the soundtrack. Both these are super fun films. And Claudio Fragasso directs, he wrote the last one, but he directs this one under his American pseudonym of Claude Anderson. It's watchable. I think it's more than watchable, but like, we can agree to disagree, Amy. I do like your opinion. You think Severin's going to the vinyl game? I think I want to go into the 4K game. I want to see a bloody, I want to see Bloody Moon in 4K. Just saying. Just keep my fingers crossed for that one. Um, so from the Crazy Troll to a Monster Dog. So there you go, right? I forgot that Claudio Fragasso did Monster Dog. But yeah, we got some cool stuff on here, like Jeff Stryker, Candice Daly from Young the Restless. Don't remember her, but Jim Gaines from On the Living Dead. 2K restoration, some great features on here. Interview with director Claudio Fragasso and screenwriter Rosella Drudy. So, haha, I knew Fragasso and Drudy did this one together. Next up is a French film. It's a really interesting film. This was sent to me as a gift, and by the way, thank you. And that is the now to print original edition of Revenge of the Living Dead Girls with the CD soundtrack. This is a French zombie film that begs the question that probably not a lot of people are asking, but like, hey, do I want to see nude zombies? Is that a place I want to go? Somebody did, and Revenge of the Living Dead Girls was made. It's actually a fun little film. It's a really fun little film. It has, again, the soundtrack for the film on here, so we get as far as tracks go, you get 21 tracks on here. Everything from Terror Shout, the whole Death Suite is on here, right up to the last track, which is Doom. This is the soundtrack. I love the cover. Look at this cover art for the track listings. They do some great track listings cover artwork here. I really like that. Again, another fantastic release from Severin. Now, guys, we're getting to what hopefully is going to be one of your favorite parts, and which is one of my favorite parts. You ready for this? It's slipcover time. It's slipcover time. And Severin, they do some amazing slipcovers. So if you're a slipcover person, this is your favorite. This is going to be a big part of the video. So first off is the slipcover for the Uncanny. I love this one. I'm so happy that I got slip for the Uncanny. I was initially going to buy this without slip. The sale came out, and I noticed that they had some left. The slipcover edition of the Uncanny sold out, and I really, really adore this slip. Just look at that. So you can see that they always have like different artwork on the inside. There's a great Peter Cushing. Again, it's time. It's time. It's slipcover time. Uh, Not gonna lie, I was super stoked with that. The next one is one that I know that Brian Sauer has, because he got his first, and that is the damaged cover for Gwendolyn. So this is a damaged version of the Gwendolyn slipcover. They had two ones to get. So this is Gwendolyn, otherwise known as Gwendolyn and the Perils of the Yik Yak. Slip into something more comfortable. Warlock, that's an awesome. Can I use that in the future for like a video name? Yeah, yeah, so not damaged. Don't you just love that? So, aside from that, can I show these? I can't remember. The special edition had limited 5,000, had the original, here's a, like cards in it. So I can't show you most of these cards, but let's find a card I can show you. It's got new D, that's got new D, that's got new D. Okay, here you go. Here's one of the cards from Gwendolyn. If you want to get more or see more of the cards that came with the set, yeah, because it came with like six cards. Then yeah, get slipcover edition. By the way, when I bought this, I had no idea that this had cards or anything with it. I didn't find it till afterwards. Okay, so often with these slipcovers, I got to look first because sometimes for Severin they have to do like use nudity in the slipcovers, and that's the idea. They can do stuff on slipcovers that they can't do for their retail releases. I actually really like this film. Again, it's a Joe D'Amato film, and somebody here said like Joe D'Amato is underrated. I do agree. He's actually put out some really good stuff, and this one has George Eastman in it. Uh, so it is. It's kind of an Emmanuel film. It's kind of a knockoff Emmanuel film. Emmanuel and Francois. And there is a inside cover, which you'll see. So there's an interview with George Eastman on here as well, and actress Maria Rosaria Riuzzi, and deleted alternate scenes here. So it's one that I haven't seen for years. I loved it when I originally saw it. I actually really liked the film. Definitely like a really unique cover. Like just look at the kind of like the border aspects of it too, and the way it's done. I actually think it's a very kind of like definitely a classier cover. But you're going to see the classiest cover. Andrew, I'm going to show you a cover, Andrew, that even you can't like. I'm going to say it. One that you're going to like. You ready? Ready for this? I'm pretty sure you're going to love this one. One, it's a great film, by the way. In my opinion, it's a fantastic film. Two, Brian Sauer will attest to this too. It's an amazing slip. This is Blood on Satan's Claw. So, Blood on Satan's Claw by Piers Haggard. Again, it's a British film. I love this movie. I've been wanting to get this for a while. Hey there, Flip. Welcome, man. We're doing Severin tonight, and we're at the Slip, so you came in at a really good time. This is probably the best cover that I've seen them put out. I got to look through, but definitely slip cover wise, this is amazing. A Joe Dante fave, really. And it's like it's simple. Like even the back of it is kind of like just the simplistic with the raven on the back. Interior artwork is is like just the regular artwork that's there. A lot of features on this release as well, by the way. Yeah, that was your first film from them. Amazing stuff that they put together here. Audio commentary on here. Actually, there's 2 audio commentaries. There's a making of interview with Piers Haggard. There's a bunch of interviews on here. I can't go through all of it, but there's a ton of stuff. This unfortunately sold out. It was a limited edition release, and they sold some during the last sale. And I just had to. I went back in for a second time just to buy that release, and ended up like getting a few more as well. That one and Bahia Blanca and a couple others. But I could not pass up on Blood on Satan's Claw. It's just such a good classic film. that I do recommend to everybody to check out. And definitely like his. So yeah, I had a feeling that you liked that one. I wasn't joking. I sounded like, but I was serious when I said I thought you liked it. Now here's something different that he did, and something that I really really like. So Jess Franco's not everybody's cup of tea, but uh, some people like I personally I love a lot of Jess Franco stuff. Not everything, but I love a lot of his stuff. And the next two films are ones that really stand out to me. He made a film with Christopher Lee called Pin Supreme Recommendations. There you go. Called Count Dracula, and it was supposed to be more authentic, more by the book. Thank you. Thank you so much. My God, Flip. I have no idea what to say, but you rock. But this is the Soledad Miranda, uh, Jess Franco. Like they put out two of them, and here we go with the first one, which is Vampire Lesbos. Flip, you're the VIP of this channel right now, and the VIP. Again, I'm blown away. And at this time, I'll be honest with you, man, this means a lot. This, like, the neat thing about this release here is that, as you can see, it is unadulterated. There's no like logos. There's no title. They left it for here, like just left it like the black with that, and gave you just the unadulterated artwork. And I love that on this release is that you get the artwork and you can just enjoy it as it is. Didn't they recently? No, you guys will have to like make sure about this one, but I think they put out like puzzles of these, right? Like the artwork on these were so good that they put out actual. They worked with the company to put out like puzzles. I almost never did a video tonight, and I'm so glad I did. And Flip, you just made my week, so thank you so much. This one came with an alternate, like Spanish language version of the film as well, and so you get like both versions here. And this was like, oh, you're gonna like the next one too, then I think. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. You guys are really not. It's been a really hard week, and you guys are really sweet tonight. So I really appreciate it. They do some great painted covers. She Killed an Ecstasy was the other one that they did with Soledad Miranda and Jess Franco. This is was an excellent release, and I'll just get the artwork here because it's nice and it's understated and it's shadowed. And Soledad Miranda, unfortunately, guys, she passed away early. She died in a car accident. She was actually the original muse for Jess Franco. It was like there was a actual French version of the film on the Vampire Lesbos as well that was put out. So this is again another like utterly fantastic release. But this one here like is the early days of them doing soundtracks. So there's actually soundtracks for 3 films on here. Altogether there is, I'll let you guys know, 24 tracks. Yeah, I know. But one good thing about it, I guess, Warlock, I like them not like doing more of these, is that these really stand out, and the Soledad Miranda stuff, like really, it's, she unfortunately she passed away early. Before Lena Romay, there was Soledad Miranda. Just for people that have followed Franco's work or just came into his later stuff and see, like Lena Romay was kind of his life partner for most of his life. Or there's the thing for the track list. But again, hopefully you like that one too, Andrew. So do you collect a lot of Severin, Flip? because that's definitely one of my that is one of my companies. Up next, well, one that I recommended you guys last year. It came out during the last October release, and that is this one right here. Wax Mask, directed by Sergio Severides, was originally supposed to be directed by Lucio Fulci, but unfortunately he passed away. The version of Wax Mask that is on here is very different from like what would have been if Lucio Fulci did it. Stavridis was an effects guy. Thank you, Triple Feature Man. You guys are awesome tonight. Thank you so much. Uh, you got to see this, Ryan. What you really, Ryan? You got to see this because once you see it, you got to watch the interview uh, with with uh, with Argento talking about Lucio Fulci. Cause I'll be honest, it touched me. Like I always like people always said, well, there's they don't really there's like a bit of like issues between them, and maybe there was, but it's really touching when Fulci is talking about Lucio when Argento is talking about Lucio Fulci. Um, and the features on here are incredible. I love. Look at this here. This is almost like you think this is ripped off from Terminator 2, but actually no, this is actually from the film. Um, like so this is like literally a scene from the film. And feature wise on here, like we got a commentary with Stavridis and with special effects artist and director Sergio Stavridis and Michelangelo Stavridis. Beyond Fulci, interviews with Argento, Stavridis, producer Giuseppe Colombo, Chamber of Horrors, more interviews, Living Dolls, Mysteries Wax Museum, just a ton of stuff on here. Uh, definitely one. Brian, Trash, you gotta make sure you both of you Brian's haven't watched this one yet. Hey there, Jacob. Definitely one to pick up during during the next sale if you haven't picked it up already. Wax Mask was an incredible release. Again with the slipcover, and there you go, guys. Yet one more time. Oh yeah, Italian cinema is infamous for actually doing that for like doing like whatever's hot basically in America. If there's like if like Dirty Harry comes out, there's a bunch of like Italian like poliziatos that come out. If like slasher films or like mystery thrillers like Hitchcock stuff are good, they do giallos. Um, if westerns come out, well, westerns are hot, then they do their spaghetti westerns. And in a lot of cases, for me especially, Kubrick, I'll be honest with you, I prefer a lot of cases, I prefer the Italian versions of the films to like some of the original. I find sometimes that they're much more entertaining. But Wax Mask is 110% one to get. It's got some great like effects work by. Gotta make sure I gotta put these in two piles because there's some that are going upstairs with me. Yeah, can't be detailed rip-offs, that's for sure. Another one that I did recommend, and hopefully you guys will manage to pick this one up, is this one right here, and it's Skinner. It stars Ted Raimi in what I consider to be his best role that he ever had. Of course, there's Ricky Lake in this one, in for me one of the best roles she ever had, and Tracy Lord's doing a really good job in this film. And Ted Raimi plays a serial killer in this one. Um, if Severin were doing like westerns, I'm sure we get like some spaghetti westerns or maybe some Spanish ones. That'd be incredible to see. That's, so you grew up flip like you're like me. You grew up with like well you're actually Italian, but you grew up with like the Italian films like the giallos and stuff like that, which is like my favorite genre. The Italian, the giallos and the slasher films were the ones that actually made me fall in love with cinema in the first place. Then from there, it was film noir. But those were like that's the kind of like the cornerstone, the corner point of me and the work that I do, um, and hopefully eventually we'll be able to pass it on and teach. It was an extremely creative period, like in cinema for them, and it's a shame now because right now, uh, I think that we need another resurgence of that in Italy. I would love to see a resurgence of the giallo. I'd like to see a comeback of the Italian giallo, not like a knockoff over in another country, but I'd like to see like a resurgence of the Italian giallo, and I'd love to see some more spaghetti westerns like actually come into fruition too. Just got the Al Amson set box set today. Fist bump. Al Amson set that rocks. Which, by the way, is one thing we'll be showing here. Don't have this, so check this out. Not only is this a really good film, the story behind this is really interesting as well. See, the guy that produced this film, uh, and directed it too, kind of a big deal at the time. His name is Ivan Nagy, and he was very famous for one special thing around the time that this movie came out that actually did not benefit this film. He was the boyfriend, and actually the rumored to be have mafioso connections, um, of Heidi Fleiss, the Hollywood Madam. And we get to hear about the film behind the scenes from some different people. From the director, we hear about like this film and like what was going on behind the scenes. From Ted Raimi, he gives us a different aspect onto this. Dustin, have a fantastic night there, and hopefully I didn't bore you. Hopefully you had a good evening. Um, uh, and there's a really really good interview with the screenwriter on there that gives you an even a different outlook on the film itself. And but the best interview might just be by the editor of the film, who is very honest in his thoughts on Avenatti and who what he thinks of him and how he thinks the guy's connected, like really connected. Okay, we'll get to these fairly quickly here. The Changeling, an amazing release. I guess Second Sight also did an incredible release for this one too. Have a great evening, Ryan. I'm actually going to be headed out soon. I just got a few more to go through. Um, this is another one which included the soundtrack, and this just to open up and show you guys. There's the I love the fact that you have like the disc which is like kind of red, and we get to like the blue U disc for the soundtrack itself. Uh, Extremely creepy soundtrack, extremely creepy film. I love it. I love the artwork and the way that the cover is done. I actually may like the cover a little bit more than the Second Sight one, even though I think Second Sight has a better overall package for the film. But if you're here in North America and you want to get the Changeling, this is your best bet of getting it. One of my favorites too. Uh, Ryan's Hours, definitely one of their best releases. But you know what also is a good release? You got to give some love to this film. I was asked about like killer. I'm not sure if the person's still here, but I asked about like killer monster films and killer like beast films. But Killer Crocodile, really good release. Oh yeah, there was two editions. Where one came without the CD, Damien, and one came with the CD. But definitely check out the one with the CD if you get a chance to get it. Thank you. I flipped you totally. I am blown away. I'd be honored to be on your channel sometime. So we'll set that up and get that done. I'll be coming back from from my from my vacation thing here in November, so I'm gonna be on. I'm gonna be doing like Dice Case. So if you want to do something up in November together, I mean, whether we do StreamYard or if you want to do it through a Zoom, I'm not sure whichever way. We'll definitely do it. So Killer Crocodile and Killer Crocodile 2, which are two that I love a lot. It's fun. I mean, these here are really fun films. Uh, I love these kind of like Killer Croc movies. Did you get these, Brian Sauer? But extremely cool ones that I definitely recommend. Yeah, I know. Like they did like the '88 Films edition. They put them on. They did like the. Oh, they didn't put them on. Actually, they each got their own. Wait a minute. Or maybe this. Yeah, no, they each got their own Blu-ray. Did you not pick it up yet, Warlock? Because each one gets their own disc. Maybe if that was the reason you haven't picked it up yet. Definitely check it out. The '88 Films one had a bigger box, right? Kind of like what they did with the Hollow Man set. Oh, if they put them in their own cases. Okay. No, I get what you mean. This one I was a limited edition one for like Black Friday as well. This was the first year that I went in, like kind of went all in, because I wanted to get a movie for my dad at the time, and I wanted to get this movie. Like he's like a um, huge fan of this film. So when it came out, I wanted to be the person to get it for him. Much like Night of the Hunter. When Night of the Hunter came out, I wanted to get it for my dad because it was his favorite film of all time. And he talked about this movie a lot when I was growing up, and we were talking and chatting. He mentioned this Jack the Ripper film that he'd seen, and it was like in black and white, and it had this color and kind of thing at the end of it that was kind of like a. So we talked about it a lot. So when I heard about it, uh, and this is of course their Jack the Ripper. I actually really like this film. I watched this a few times. There's I think like three versions of the film on here. So there's the U.S. version, the U.K. version, and there's like a bonus disc with the European version of the film, with I think more nudity. Basically, is what it is. The difference on there. But I love this because it has a pulp type of look to it, and there's a much different. Like there's two like different artworks on here, but there's the inside one I like the most. What I think is Zodiac. I actually like Zodiac. I love movies and serial killers. By far and large. Basically, my mom is a huge like true crime fan, and I kind of get kind of that kind of rubbed off on me. She had like remember those True Detective. I don't know if they come out yet. If they still come out, but there's like these True Detective magazines that will come out like and they'd have like actual pictures of like crimes and stuff, and they'd have like kind of like pulpy like descriptions and stuff. My mom would like eat those things up. She loved those. Okay, I got to be careful with the next one, guys, because there's a little bit of nudity on the slipcover. So I'm just gonna hide that. So this is Emmanuel and the Last Cannibal. I really did like this one. This is one of my favorite films that in the cannibal genre, and you guys know I'm not a huge fan of cannibal films. I'm a little bit squeamish for some of that stuff. Uh, Not big on the animal cruelty stuff, right? But this here, I gotta say, I utterly love this film. And there is, of course, again, the original motion picture soundtrack is on here as well. So you get that here too. A really great release. But yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Gotta hide the nudity on these things. Okay, before I go into the box sets, I got a couple of DVD sets that I got, and these are, again, you guys know I'm fascinated with the era of the video nasty, and so first off is the Video Nasty's The Definitive Guide. This is part of the UK, I think, by Optima. I can't remember if that's the right name or not, but this is the first documentary that they put out. And the neat thing about this, what's really cool about it, is the first disc on this is a documentary. It's a documentary by Video Nasties. It's extremely well done. But there's two more discs of trailers, and not just trailers, but the trailers are introduced. So every one of these trailers are introduced, and the neat thing about that is that kind of makes it seem like it's a whole like other like expanded documentary. I love the way that the discs look on this. Do have Twitter, Facebook? I got Twitter at Mr. Vincent on Twitter. I'm actually I have Facebook as well, Aaron Penn. Feel free to add me. Um, and under Instagram, which is what I probably use most, to be honest with you, is it's Charm 007. So like Charmed, like the TV series 007, because I was putting away discs at the time. I was reorganizing my stuff, and there was a Charmed box set, and I had a 007 box set, and I just opened up an Instagram account, and I need the name, and it kind of went together. So as good as this one is, do you know what? You put out a sequel documentary called Video Nasty's The Draconian Days, the Definitive Guide Part 2, and you know what? It's actually better than the first one. It has the Section 3 list for the trailers on here. So I agree, Damon. These are amazing sets. So again, some great stuff. Some great 82 trailers in all on this set. Everything from Dead Kids to Deep Red, The Hatchet Murders, Death Weekend, Demented, Eaten Alive, Headless Eyes, Mark the Devil. A ton of really great stuff. So these are essentials. So next time you see a sale from Severin, and if you haven't got these, I 100% recommend that you check them out. All right, so we're getting into the box sets now. I do have an Amicus box set from Severin as well. I, for the life of me, cannot remember where I put that thing. So I apologize that I can't show that one off with the rest of these here. But there's an Amicus box set from Severin that I have. Go with their, yeah. So right here is and sometimes they'll put they'll take like theme ones and put them together. So here's All the Colors of the Dark, which is a Sergio Martino film. A really good Sergio Martino film. And for those that want to know, yes, I do have the T-shirt that goes along with this one right here. And they put out a Giallo documentary as well, and that would be All the Colors of Giallo, which is really cool. So I'll take these out here. And there's the All the Colors of the Dark. And they do have a CD soundtrack on here, and there are 14 tracks on the soundtrack for All the Colors of the Dark. I love the Martino soundtracks. You guys have such interesting conversations going on here, by the way, that I go back and I mute myself and listen to afterwards when I'm missing out on stuff. And of course, next is All the Colors of Giallo. What's really cool about this one is it's a 3-disc set. So the first disc is the documentary. Not only is there a really good documentary, but there are 4 hours of Giallo trailers on here as well. So called a Giallothon. So Flip, if you don't have this one, I recommend you check this one out. 4 hours of Giallo trailers, and even better than that is the Giallo trailers have a commentary with Kat Ellinger. And as you guys know, Kat Ellinger is one of my favorite commentary people. The Giallo Frames is on here, an interview with John Martin. Disc 2 talks about the Krimi films, and kind of that was kind of like the German crime films, kind of like Giallos. Hey there, Darren. That's one thing I love, Warlock. You're right. It's a great sign when chats are actually talking to each other, because that means the sense of community is working, and that's exactly what I want to do. And the third disc on here is a CD. It's a big surprise, right? Strange Sounds of the Bloodstained Films, compiled by Alfonso Carrillo, Rendezvous from the archives of Beat Records. And on the strange things, it has a really cool track list, and it has 20 tracks from a variety of Giallo films. Everything from tracks from The Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward on here, to I think the Case of Scorpion's Tail. I'm not sure what Poison Claws is from, but they're all written in their Italian movie names. So I can't read Italian yet, so I don't know. But I'm sure when I listen to the tracks, I will know exactly where it's from. But really, really cool stuff. Oh, Edwidge Fenech. Definitely. One for my heart, guys. All right. Next up is a Mondo set that came that came with that. I actually cannot show you any of the slipcase because it's all nudity. So there you go. It is Echo and Forbidden, which are two Mondo films, and the other two are Mondo Frido and Mondo Bizarro. And again, I can't show you the covers because a ton of nudity on the covers, and this is YouTube. There's some great special features on there, including a commentary with Johnny Legend and Eric Caden on one of the films here, and there's some great interviews and short films on there as well. So if you like the Mondo ones, then these Mondo sets are actually yeah for Andrew because it's YouTube and they have some really strict laws. You can't really show any nudity or anything. Like you can show all the blood and violence you want, which is kind of like a double-edged sword there. But you can't show any nudity on on YouTube. And they've gotten very strict with stuff like that. You got to go in and say, is this video like for children or is this video not for children? Obviously, the stuff I talk about isn't like child-centric, so I just automatically put it on like not for these videos aren't for kids. So that unfortunately for me that'll sometimes take away from advertising revenue. So when you guys go with the super chats like Flip did and Brian and all you guys that it really helps out. Because oftentimes they'll defund me for a bit. So thank you so much, and you guys are awesome. Severin's next kid, I don't know. I mean, but Severin's kids line is actually really cool, because it is so strange. I know I know it's I'm not sure where you're from, Andrew, but unfortunately Europeans have it right when it comes to they're very laissez-faire when it comes to nudity and stuff like that. We're backwards. We'll show violence all the time, but nudity is is a taboo. So, but here we go. Something that has both. the Umberto Lenzi Carol Baker set. This is really good. If you don't have this, I definitely recommend. Oh, Brazil, of course. Then you have definitely the more. You said that before too. I've got a horrible memories, just so you know, except when it comes to films, apparently. So, Orgasmo. This is incredible. There is a fantastic song on this one here, and let me see if I can find the song, because of course it does. Once again, you get a soundtrack CD with this one. Oh, all four films are amazing on this. There's a song here called "Just Tell Me." Well, you got to get it, Dave. You got to get this out. I'm serious. Yeah, it is Carol Baker for Something Wild. She made 4 films with Umberto Lenzi. And these are all 4 of them. So basically, this is everything she made with Lenzi. This, by the way, Kubrick, this one here, and I'm pretty sure, Brian, you saw this one, right? What's a print run? I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up, Warlock, but I don't know offhand. But this one here is definitely. I go back and forth between what. This is definitely one of my favorites on the set. So Sweet, So Perverse. Again, another classic film. And as you can see, it doesn't just have her in this one, but we get we get by the way, a commentary by Kat Ellinger, but we get Erica Blanc in this one here as well. So again, some really great stuff. And oh, what are Mondo films? Sorry, Ragman, I didn't see the comment there. Mondo films they were like a short-lived, short period of time. They made films that kind of and they'd be have a lot of nudity and violence, and they'd be just they tell you we're going to these underbelly places where cannibals are, and there's these amazing clubs of satanic worshipers. Just kind of really exploitive stuff, really kind of cheesy and fun with very little story to it. Definitely, Damon. If you don't have this set, it should definitely be your next purchase, set wise. A Quiet Place to Kill is an incredible film. Gene Sorrell is really, really good in this. He's really good in this one. Uh, Sam Deegan is the commentary for this one here. If you've never seen this film, 110% recommend that you check out this film. It is brilliant. Before you on your watch pile. Well, you got a lot of stuff, Warlock. I mean, you're always telling me what stuff you got on there. And Knife of Ice is a very different film. This one is very more. It's much more subdued. No nudity in Knife of Ice, but there is one thing that does kind of really just get you. There is a bullfighting scene at the beginning of the film on Knife of Ice, and it is distasteful, and it takes away from the film itself. Vice thumb's going here, so I'm glad I've only got one more to show you guys. Uh, all right, and this is, of course, is a biggie. This is one the greatest set that Severin ever put out. Um, One of the greatest sets ever put out. Jump off to watch One Eye Jackson. Well, this is the last one I'm going to Craig. So thanks for coming in for so long, and have a great evening there. So this is the Al Adamson set, done with to look like a famous Monsters of Filmland magazine cover, which I utterly adore because I grew up with famous Monsters of Filmland. Movies are your passion, and that's one thing I like about you. This is utterly an amazing set. If you never picked it up yet, I do recommend like getting it if you can get it down the road. This is Blood and Flesh Files with some really, really great stuff. You're coming in right at the end, Amy, but I'd recommend going back to the beginning of this afterwards because this actually was an extremely really cool. I think it's a real cool video anyway. Everybody else can tell what they think. But we went through the whole Severin, like everything that happened from Severin on here. I'm a huge, huge fan of Severin releasing. Like I'm trying to make sure. So the artwork and the write ups on here. This was done by Bill Ackerman and Amanda Rees. She's really good. Actually, both are extremely really good writers. So it was amazing to get this on here. The way that the Adamson box set is done. Some people didn't like it, but I actually loved the this here. People say, "Well, what about it scratching?" It's a Blu-ray. Blu-rays are actually much harder to scratch. Welcome, Amy. By the way. So here you see, like, much like the Hitchcock masterpiece set. Oh, she threw your famous Monsters of Filmland, Brian. As you can see, I love the fact that you have all these posters for all the films on here. And this is a great set, and it's not just like you think it'd just be like some genre stuff, but it has everything like that he did. That pretty much everything that he did, from westerns to, to kind of cheesy, like vampire films to biker movies, including Satan's Saddest, which I think is, well, pretty much his best film. It's nice to see you back here, Amy. By the way, the when you put on the discs are really cool. Like the opening menu, the menu, like the screen for Dracula versus Frankenstein has like Dracula and Frankenstein on there with the lightning coming out. It's really cool, actually. There's Satan's Saddest. That's probably my favorite by him. Your old Starlight and Fangoria. I lost a lot of my Starlight and Fangoria. I grew up with Starlight and Fangoria. Um, the Stewardess films that they did. Oh yeah, they do amazing menus on this one here. And there's the black exploitation stuff. Uncle Sherry, no, sorry, Uncle Sherry. Nurse Sherry, of course, which was, of course. And like the kids' films that he did, Carnival Magic, and he talked about like and Lost. So, and just look at the even the back. It's just an incredibly well done set, well produced. I know we had to wait a bit on it, but I think we can all say right now that was worth the wait. So there you go. That is my entire Severin collection. Severin's October releases that are coming out right now has our Black Cat from Lucio Cosi, which if you're a fan of the Inferno and Suspiria, you're probably going to want to check that out. Um, of course, the Patrick Still Lives, which is a super cheesy, fun Italian uh, knockoff film. And there is Shock Treatment, which I'll be honest with you guys, I do not know anything about, so I'm very interested in checking it out. You're with Starlock since issue one. Wow. I went in for a while, and I was there till pretty much till the end, and I'm hoping that because when Fangoria came out again, they actually like got the rights to Starlog and Gorezone as well. So we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see some stuff coming out from them. By the way, my name is Aaron. This is my movie library. You are the Call to Cinema. You guys are amazing. Thank you, Flip. Thank you, everybody that helped out with the super chat. I have blown away. Nothing like this has ever happened to me in this here before. Um, but I will see you guys again soon. I am. I forgot what I was going to say. I'll be bluntly honest with you. But you guys rock. Flip, we'll get the video done together, that's for sure. And you know what I want to do right now more than anything else? I kind of want to curl up, get some chips, and read some old Starlog Fangoria magazines. So hopefully I'll get to do that in the near future. Have a great evening there, and like he says, may the cult be with you. You guys rock, and I will see you again very soon. Keep an eye on the Patreon because there's a couple videos coming up soon, including one for the movie Trances and one for Dracula versus Frankenstein. And we're working on some other stuff, which I will let you guys know about very, very soon. Have a great evening.